The awakening. 60,000 days. That was how long it had been since Earth fell. 60,000 days since the Xiran, an alien race of unimaginable power and cruelty, had descended upon the planet, tearing through cities, annihilating armies and scattering humanity across the stars. The stories of that day had become myths, whispered among the colonies, tales that warned of a species that seemed invincible. But humanity, even in exile, never forgot. On the remote planet of Nerithus, a barren world bathed in the pale light of two suns, a new chapter in humanity's story was quietly unfolding. Among the jagged cliffs and windswept plains, a sleek, silver tower pierced the sky. This was the headquarters of the Aurora Armada, a fleet born not of conquest, but of survival, revenge, and hope. Inside, the hum of machinery, flickering holograms, and the distant clatter of boots on metal echoed through vast corridors. In the command center, Kalen Dre stood before a massive holomap of the galaxy. His eyes, sharp and determined, scanned star systems and dotted alien-occupied planets. Kalen was young, barely 30 cycles in age, yet there was an intensity about him that suggested he had lived lifetimes. His dark hair fell across his forehead as he clenched his fists, the light from the holographic display reflecting in his deep amber eyes. "It's time," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Beside him, Lyra Vey, the legendary tactician who had guided humanity's scattered colonies for decades, watched silently. Her face was lined with the weight of years, but her eyes burned with the same fire that had driven humanity to endure exile. She placed a hand on Kalen's shoulder, her touch firm and grounding. "We've waited long enough, Kalen," she said. Her voice carried the authority of a commander and the reassurance of a mentor. "The Xiran believe we're extinct. They think Earth belongs to them. They've forgotten who we are. And that is their greatest mistake." Kalen nodded, feeling the surge of emotion welling up inside him. It was not just anger that fueled him, it was sorrow, pride, and an unshakable desire to reclaim what had been stolen. He remembered the stories of his ancestors, of their last desperate battles on Earth, of their retreat to distant colonies, and of the countless lives lost. And yet, even in exile, humans had survived, adapted, and evolved. The command center was alive with activity. Officers moved with precision, monitoring communication channels and energy flows, ensuring every system was ready. Pilots ran pre-flight checks on their ships. Engineers recalibrated weapons powered by Ethereum, an energy source that had taken humanity decades to harness. Scientists adjusted the orbital cloaking systems, ensuring the fleet would remain undetectable until the moment of their return. Among them was Riven Salas, a pilot whose reflexes were unmatched and whose courage had earned him a place among the fleet's elite. He leaned against the railing overlooking the main chamber, a faint grin on his face. "Feels like the calm before the storm," he said, though even he couldn't hide the tension in his voice. "And a storm is exactly what they're about to get," Talia Vorn replied from her station, her fingers dancing across a holographic keyboard as she monitored the fleet's systems. Talia was a cybernetic engineer, her mind as precise as any machine she had ever built. Her enhancements gave her the ability to interface with the ship's AI systems directly, making her indispensable to the mission. Kalen turned to face them both, a spark of inspiration lighting his features. "This isn't just about fighting the Xiran," he said. "It's about showing them that humanity cannot be destroyed. They've underestimated us for centuries. But today we remind them of one truth: humans always return." Silence fell for a moment, each person absorbing the weight of his words. It was more than a statement, it was a promise. And in that promise lay the culmination of 60,000 days of planning, hope, and relentless determination. Outside the tower, the twin suns of Nerithus cast long shadows across the rocky landscape. The wind howled through the canyons, carrying with it a sense of anticipation. Far above, the Aurora Armada hovered in orbit, hidden from prying alien sensors. Hundreds of ships, each a testament to human ingenuity, glimmered like stars waiting to reclaim their place in the sky. Kalen's thoughts drifted to Earth. He could almost picture the ruins of the cities, the twisted metal and shattered streets, the once vibrant oceans now poisoned and lifeless. But in his mind he also saw what could be: green forests reclaiming ruined lands, human cities rising from the ashes, and the sky filled not with fear but with hope. Lyra joined him at the observation deck, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon. "You know," she said softly, "our ancestors would be proud. They fought with everything they had and we've carried that spirit forward. What we're about to do, it's more than revenge. It's a legacy." Kalen exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of the centuries press on him. I know, he said. And we will honor it. The first signals came shortly after. Scouts returning from the outer edges of the solar system reported minor alien activity, patrol drones and small scouting vessels. Nothing major, but enough to remind the humans that the Zirin were never truly gone. They had merely assumed the war was over. They were wrong. As the hours passed, Kalen moved among the officers and crew, speaking words of encouragement, sharing strategies and listening to concerns. Each person he encountered felt the same mix of fear and excitement. Fear of what lay ahead, excitement for the chance to reclaim what was theirs. The human spirit, honed by exile, shone brightly in each face. By nightfall, the Aurora Armada had begun its silent preparations. Ships powered up, cloaking fields activated, and flight crews took their positions. Kalen stood on the bridge of the flagship Horizon's Wrath, staring at the holographic projection of Earth. The blue and green of the planet, muted by centuries of alien occupation, still held a familiar beauty. And it was waiting for them. This is it, Kalen whispered. 60,000 days of waiting, and it ends now. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they had endured. Let them remember us, she said. Not as the humans who fell, but as the humans who returned. And with that, the fleet prepared to move. A quiet determination filled every heart, a single thought resonating across the Armada. Humanity was coming home. The awakening had begun. The hidden Armada. Far beyond the outer rim of the Erinder asteroid belt, hidden among jagged rocks and swirling dust clouds, the Aurora Armada lay in silence. The fleet, a sprawling collection of sleek starships, warships and stealth vessels, moved as one under the careful guidance of humanity's most brilliant tacticians. From the outside, the fleet looked like a cluster of drifting metal among the asteroids, invisible to any alien eye untrained to notice subtle movements. At the heart of the Armada hovered the flagship Horizon's Wrath, a vessel the size of a small city. Its hull was reinforced with layers of Etherium armor, capable of withstanding strikes that could vaporize entire planets. Inside, the crew prepared for what could be humanity's most dangerous mission yet, the return to Earth. Commander Lyra Vey stood at the central command station, her sharp eyes scanning the fleet's holographic layout. Every ship, every pilot, every engineer, and every weapon system had been accounted for. Years of planning had brought them here, and Lyra knew that success depended not just on firepower, but on coordination, stealth, and timing. Scans show no Zirin patrols in the sector, she said, her voice calm but tinged with tension. But that won't last. Once we move toward the inner system, we must be ready for anything. Kalen Dre, standing beside her, nodded. We've been patient for 60,000 days. We will not fail now. Every second we've waited has prepared us for this moment. Their words were more than motivation, they were a reminder of the stakes. Humanity's survival, the reclamation of Earth, and the legacy of their ancestors depended on the next few hours. Among the fleet, Riven Salas made his final preparations in the cockpit of his fighter, Falcon's Edge. His hands moved with practiced precision as he ran through the system's checks, ensuring that his ship's weapons, shields, and stealth modules were ready. He looked up at Kalen and gave a grin, though it didn't quite reach his eyes. Feels like standing on the edge of a knife, he said. Talia Vorn, seated in the communications hub, laughed softly. More like standing on the edge of a star. One wrong move and we're toast. Her fingers danced across her console, rerouting power, recalibrating stealth protocols, and running simulations for every possible Zirin encounter. Beyond the human fleet, Erinder's asteroids swirled in the void, casting jagged shadows across the ships. The silence of space was deceptive. Every signal, every blip, every movement had to be accounted for. One slip-up, one miscalculation, and the Zirin could detect them, annihilating the Armada before they even reached Earth. Lyra called for a final briefing. In the conference room, holographic maps of the solar system floated above the table, each planet, moon, and debris field marked with precise coordinates. We are not just going to strike at Earth, Lyra began, her voice resonating with authority. We are going to dismantle the Zirin's control, piece by piece. Their patrols, supply lines, and communication arrays will fall first. We make them believe humanity is weak, scattered, and extinct. And then. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. We hit with everything we've got. Kalen stepped forward, pointing at Earth on the holographic map. This is our home. Every planet we've survived on, every colony we've built, every life we've protected has led to this moment. The Zirin took our world, but they didn't break our spirit. We are stronger than they've ever imagined. A murmur of agreement passed through the room. Soldiers, engineers, and pilots alike felt the surge of determination that flowed from their leaders. They were no longer exiles. They were the harbingers of humanity's return. The fleet began its approach toward the inner solar system, each ship maintaining strict radio silence and stealth protocols. Sensors picked up small anomalies, debris, rogue satellites, but no sign of Ziran fleets. The human crews moved like shadows, unseen yet ready to strike. In the strategic wing of Horizon's Wrath, Talia monitored every signal coming from Earth and the surrounding space. "There's activity near the outer moons," she reported, her voice calm but focused. "Small patrols, likely scouting for survivors. They haven't detected us yet, but we need to be careful. One alarm and it could jeopardize everything." Kalen nodded, eyes fixed on the holographic display. "Then we strike fast and strike smart. The Ziran will not see us coming." Lyra turned to him, her expression stern. "Remember, Kalen, this is more than just battle. It's strategy. Every move we make must outthink them, outmaneuver them, and outlast them. We have the advantage of surprise. Let's not waste it." As the fleet moved silently through the asteroid field, Kalen thought of the humans who had fought and died on Earth 60,000 days ago. He thought of the colonies that had struggled to survive in hostile environments. He thought of the children born in exile who had never seen their true home. All of them depended on this mission, and failure was not an option. Hours turned into days as the fleet made its cautious journey. The silence was occasionally broken by Riven's voice over the comms, joking with his fellow pilots to ease the tension. Talia's fingers never stopped moving across her console, keeping the ships invisible to any Ziran sensors. Lyra maintained constant contact with every unit, adjusting plans as necessary, anticipating every move the aliens might make. Finally, the Aurora Armada reached the outer edge of Earth's solar system. From this distance, the planet looked like a fragile, battered marble suspended in darkness. Its once vibrant oceans were now streaked with gray, and massive alien structures loomed over the continents. But beneath the surface, Kalen knew humanity's future was waiting. "We're close," he said, voice steady but carrying an edge of excitement. "Everything we've done leads to this moment. Prepare for descent. The Ziran may have taken our planet, but they have not taken our will. And they will learn, as all must, that humans never stay down for long." The fleet shifted into formation, the cloaking fields shimmering faintly as they prepared to move closer. Every ship, every crew member, every weapon system was poised for action. The hidden armada was no longer just a fleet, it was a symbol of humanity's resilience, intelligence, and unyielding spirit. As the last light of Nerithus's twin suns faded behind the fleet, Kalen allowed himself a brief moment of reflection. 60,000 days of waiting, planning, and surviving had brought them here. And now the long-awaited return to Earth, their home, was about to begin. The hidden armada moved forward, silently and deliberately, into the darkness of the solar system. Beyond the asteroid belts, beyond the patrolling drones, beyond the Ziran's expectations, humanity was coming home. And this time they would not be stopped. The return. The Aurora Armada drifted silently through the void, their cloaking fields shimmering faintly as they approached the outskirts of the solar system. After 60,000 days of exile, humanity was finally returning to Earth, their stolen home. For generations, humans had whispered legends of the planet they had lost, painting images of oceans, forests, and cities that thrived under the warmth of the sun. Now, Kalen Dre and the crew of the Horizon's Wrath were about to see the truth of what remained. From orbit, the first glimpse of Earth was almost unrecognizable. What had once been a vibrant blue and green planet now lay scarred in gray. Cities were reduced to jagged skeletons of steel and concrete. Oceans, once shimmering and full of life, were dark and poisoned, reflecting the alien structures that had risen like grotesque monuments to conquest. Mountains had been flattened, rivers choked with debris, and the air itself seemed heavy, tainted by decades of alien occupation. Kalen stood on the observation deck, eyes fixed on the planet below. His jaw tightened and his fists clenched. This is what they did to us," he said quietly, the words barely audible over the hum of the ship's engines. "But they will pay. Every ruin, every life lost, they will pay." Beside him, Lyra Vey studied the planet's surface with her binocular-enhanced optics. "They built defenses," she noted, her voice calm but tinged with warning. "Orbiting fortresses, patrol drones, automated turrets. They don't expect us to come back. They assume humanity is extinct. That is their mistake." Riven Salas, leaning casually against the railing, smirked. "Well, they're about to learn exactly why you don't underestimate humans." His grin was half bravado, half excitement, though his amber eyes betrayed the tension he felt. Talia Vorn sat at the central command console, her fingers flying over the holographic interface as she scanned the planet's defenses. Outer defenses are automated, yes, but scattered. There's no central coordination yet. If we strike fast and strategically, we can create chaos before they can react. Kalen turned to face the team. Then we don't give them a chance. Today, Earth remembers humanity. Today we remind the Zirin why they should have left us alone. The fleet began its descent from orbit, stealth fields activated, ensuring they remained invisible to Zirin sensors. The human ships moved like shadows, drifting through the atmosphere, avoiding detection while monitoring the alien fortifications below. Every move was calculated, every formation precise. As they passed over what had once been the North American continent, Kalen's mind raced with memories passed down through the generations. Stories of families fleeing cities under alien bombardment, of soldiers making desperate last stands, of scientists racing to preserve human knowledge in hidden vaults. Earth had been broken, but humanity had endured, and now it would reclaim what was rightfully theirs. Suddenly, Talia's voice cut through the comms. Multiple drones detected. They're scanning the atmosphere, but they haven't locked on yet. I can create a false signal to mask our descent, but we need to move quickly. Kalen nodded. Do it. Riven, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Lyra, coordinate the fleet. Everyone else, stay sharp. This is the moment we've trained for. As the ships descended, the first signs of resistance appeared. Zirin drones, sleek and lethal, patrolled the skies above the alien-occupied cities. They were faster and more advanced than any human craft from the past, but humanity had evolved, adapted, and learned. Riven piloted his fighter with uncanny precision, dodging laser fire and weaving through the enemy formations. His maneuvers were a dance of skill, reflex, and courage, proving that humans had grown stronger in exile. From orbit, Lyra directed the fleet like a master conductor. Flank the northern ridge. Concentrate fire on the eastern turret. Keep the drones distracted while the ground teams deploy. Each order was executed flawlessly as humans and AI worked in perfect synchrony. Meanwhile, Kalen led the ground deployment team, boarding hover transports that glided silently toward the ruined cities. Soldiers and engineers alike moved with a single purpose: reclaim Earth one sector at a time. The streets below were littered with debris, but every shadow, every corner, was now a chance for the humans to strike back. As they landed, Kalen's team encountered the first Zirin patrols. The aliens were imposing, towering creatures with metallic exoskeletons and glowing red eyes. They moved with mechanical precision, weapons aimed at anything that resembled a human. But the humans were prepared. Using a combination of stealth, strategy, and ingenuity, Kalen's forces neutralized the patrols swiftly, leaving the aliens shocked and unprepared for the coordinated assault. Riven's voice crackled over the comms. Outer defenses neutralized. The city is clear for initial reclamation. Kalen allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. It was the first real victory in decades, proof that humans could and would take back their home. But he knew this was only the beginning. The Zirin had occupied Earth for centuries and their forces were vast. The battle for humanity's home would be long and arduous. From the skies above, Talia monitored the unfolding conflict. Central command structures detected, she reported. If we strike there, we can cripple their communication and control. But it won't be easy. They'll defend it with everything they have. Kalen clenched his fists, determination burning brighter than ever. Then that's our next target. We hit fast, strike hard, and show them that humans are not to be trifled with. Every ruin, every scar on this planet, it's fuel for our revenge. As night fell over the alien-occupied cities, the Aurora Armada held the skies, a silent, unseen force ready to reclaim Earth. Below, Kalen's ground teams moved through the ruins with precision and purpose, reclaiming territory one block at a time. Every human action sent a message to the Zirin. The species they had thought extinct was alive, stronger, and united. For the first time in 60,000 days, Earth began to feel the stirrings of hope. The humans had returned not as exiles or fugitives, but as warriors, strategists, and reclaimers of their home. The Zirin, for all their power, had underestimated the indomitable spirit of humanity. Kalen stood atop a ruined skyscraper, gazing at the horizon where alien fortresses loomed. The wind carried the scent of scorched metal and dust, but it also carried something else: possibility. Humanity was here. Humanity had returned. And the Zirin would soon learn that Earth was not theirs to keep. He turned to Lyra, Riven, and Talia. "This is only the beginning," he said, voice steady and resolute. "We reclaim every inch of this planet. We take back what was stolen from us. And we make sure the Zirin remember the name of every human who fought for Earth." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting the glow of distant fires and flickering holographic maps. "Today we remind them who we are. Today humanity returns." And with that, the Aurora Armada pressed forward, their ships cutting through the alien-occupied skies, their ground teams moving like shadows through ruined streets, and the first chapter of humanity's long-awaited revenge began. The return had started. Earth would never be the same again. The first strike. The skies above what had once been the bustling city of New York were darkened by alien fortifications. Towering Zirin spires stretched toward the clouds, their metallic surfaces glinting under the polluted sun. Drones patrolled in swarms, scanning the ruined streets below, while automated turrets hummed with lethal energy. For centuries, this city had been a symbol of human civilization, and now it was ground zero for humanity's long-awaited return. Kalen Dre stood aboard the Horizon's Wrath, surveying the scene through advanced holo-optics. Every inch of the city was a testament to alien occupation, but it was also an opportunity. Every patrol, every structure, every control point was a target. Humanity's chance for a decisive strike had arrived. "Lyra," Kalen said, his voice steady, "we need to hit fast, hit hard, and leave them scrambling. We can't afford hesitation." Lyra Vay's eyes narrowed as she studied the tactical display. "Agreed. We'll split the assault into 2 phases. Riven and the aerial units neutralize the patrols and outer defenses. Talia will handle the infiltration of their communication grid. Ground teams follow up to secure strategic points. Timing will be everything." Riven Salas grinned, strapping into the cockpit of his fighter, Falcon's Edge. "I love it when plans actually work," he said, though the tension in his voice betrayed the adrenaline surging through him. Talia Vorn, seated at the control hub, focused intently on her console. "I've hacked into their outer systems," she reported. "I can feed false signals to their patrol drones, make them think the attack is coming from the north, while the real strike comes from the east." "Perfect," Kalen replied. "Let's remind the Zirin why humans were never meant to be underestimated." The first wave of the assault commenced. Riven and his squadron of elite pilots darted through the skies, weaving between laser fire and evading patrolling drones with uncanny precision. Each fighter moved like an extension of its pilot, a testament to human skill, courage, and ingenuity. Explosions erupted across the city as Riven's team struck the outer turrets and supply lines. The Zirin had expected humanity to avoid confrontation, but they were wrong. Humans had evolved, adapted, and learned. The Aurora Armada's precision and coordination left the aliens reeling, struggling to respond to an enemy they had assumed was extinct. On the ground, Kalen led the first wave of infantry through the ruined streets. Soldiers moved with calculated efficiency, securing key locations, neutralizing drone patrols, and establishing control points. Their tactics were a combination of guerrilla warfare and advanced strategy, honed over decades of survival in exile. The city's skyline was alive with the clash of technology and determination. Laser blasts streaked through the air, reflected in the shattered glass of abandoned skyscrapers. Explosions shook the streets, sending clouds of dust and debris into the atmosphere. And yet, amidst the chaos, the humans advanced, unyielding and resolute. Talia, from the command hub, guided Kalen and his ground teams through the labyrinthine city, feeding them data on patrol routes, structural weaknesses, and energy nodes controlling the alien systems. Her cybernetic enhancements allowed her to interface directly with the city's alien tech, turning it against its masters. As the humans pushed deeper, they reached the central communications tower, a massive spire that pulsed with eerie alien energy. Kalen signaled his team to hold position. "This is it," he said. "Take control of this tower and we disrupt their entire network. Every signal, every patrol, every drone will falter. The city is ours if we can hold it." Riven's squadron provided cover from above, intercepting reinforcements and ensuring the ground teams could advance without being overwhelmed. The aerial dogfights were fierce, with human ingenuity pitted against alien technology. Pilots twisted, dove, and outmaneuvered the Zirin drones, proving that skill and creativity could rival raw firepower. Inside the tower, Kalen and his team encountered Zirin defenders, tall, metallic-skinned warriors with glowing red eyes and advanced weaponry. The battle was brutal, each strike precise, each movement a matter of life or death. But humans fought with a combination of courage, strategy, and determination that the Zirin could not anticipate. Talia's hacking disrupted the tower's energy matrix, causing lights to flicker, shields to fail, and automated defenses to misfire. "You've got 15 minutes before backup arrives," she warned over comms. "Move fast." Kalen led the final push, neutralizing the remaining defenders and seizing the tower's central control hub. With a flick of his hand, the alien system shut down. The city's defenses faltered, drones fell from the sky, and turrets went dark. Humanity had achieved the impossible. They had struck at the heart of the Ziran stronghold and emerged victorious. From orbit, Lyra observed the battlefield with satisfaction. "They've taken the first strike brilliantly," she said. "The city is unstable and the Ziran will be disoriented. This is exactly the opening we need for larger operations." Kalen, standing atop the communications tower, looked across the devastated city below. His heart swelled with a mixture of triumph and sorrow. They had won a critical victory, but this was only the beginning. Earth was scarred, its cities occupied, and its people scattered. Humanity's path to full reclamation would be long and fraught with danger. But for the first time in 60,000 days, Kalen felt the taste of true hope. Humanity had returned not as victims but as warriors. The Ziran, for all their power, had underestimated the spirit, strategy, and resilience of a species that refused to remain in the shadows. "Today we remind them," Kalen said, his voice carrying over the comms to every unit. "Humans are not gone. Humans are not weak. Humans are returning. And we will take back our home." The first strike was complete. The streets of New York, once silent under alien rule, now echoed with the footsteps of humans reclaiming their city. Fires burned in controlled zones, marking the victory of the Aurora Armada, while the distant sounds of retreating Ziran forces filled the air. From the top of the tower, Kalen gazed at the horizon, where alien fortresses loomed on the edges of the city. This victory was only the opening act. Stronger defenses awaited, more battles lay ahead, and the Ziran would not surrender easily. But humanity had made its statement. The first strike had been successful, precise, and devastating. The Ziran would remember this day. They would remember the humans who refused to be defeated. They would remember that Earth was not theirs to keep. And Kalen Dre knew with every fiber of his being that this was only the beginning of humanity's revenge. The Ziran counterattack. The victory over New York had been swift, precise, and devastating, but the Ziran were not a species accustomed to defeat. From their massive orbital fortresses and distant command hubs, the alien overlords watched as their drones fell, their communication grids were crippled, and their hold on Earth began to slip. The humans had returned, and they were bold, coordinated, and relentless. Commander Lyra Vey observed the incoming signals from the orbiting Ziran fleets. Her sharp eyes traced patterns across the holographic display. "They've mobilized their reinforcements," she said, her voice tense but controlled. "Multiple battle groups are approaching from the eastern quadrant. They're faster than our fighters, heavily armed, and they will not hesitate to destroy anything in their path." Kalen Dre stood beside her, his jaw set. "We expected this. Let them come. We'll meet them on our terms." Riven Salas, perched in the cockpit of Falcon's Edge, smirked, though the tension in his fingers betrayed his nerves. "Bring it on. I've been waiting for someone to challenge me in a real dogfight." But even as confidence rippled through the human ranks, the enormity of the task ahead was undeniable. The Ziran counterattack was swift, brutal, and merciless. Massive warships streaked across the atmosphere, their hulls glowing with lethal energy, while swarms of drones cut through the skies like predatory swarms. Every human pilot, soldier, and engineer felt the weight of the oncoming storm. Lyra issued commands with precision. "Falcon Squadron, intercept the first wave. Keep them away from the ground teams. Horizon's Wrath, deploy the energy shields over the city's perimeter. Talia, disrupt their navigation systems. Ground teams, hold positions until the sky is clear." Riven and his squadron dove into the oncoming fleet, weaving between laser blasts and dodging massive energy cannons. The aerial combat was a dance of life and death, human skill pitted against alien technology. Each maneuver, each evasion, each counterattack was a statement. Humans had returned and they would not be destroyed. On the ground, Kalen rallied his troops. Soldiers fortified positions, set traps, and coordinated strikes with the support teams above. Despite the Ziran's overwhelming numbers, humanity's ingenuity gave them an edge. Every building, every ruin, every piece of terrain was leveraged to neutralize alien advantages. Amidst the chaos, Talia worked feverishly at the control hub. "I've infiltrated their ship guidance systems," she reported. "I can cause misfires, reroute reinforcements, and delay their coordination. But it will only last for a short window. We need to act fast." Kalen nodded. Do it. Riven pushed them back. Ground teams, prepare for offensive maneuvers the moment their systems fail. The skies above New York erupted in a symphony of destruction. Explosions lit the darkened clouds, sending plumes of smoke and debris into the air. Drones fell from orbit, their metal husks scattering across the ruined streets. Warships collided in blazing dogfights, while human fighters twisted and darted with uncanny precision, their tactics a blend of instinct, training, and raw courage. But the Zirin were adaptive. As quickly as they faltered, they recalibrated, redirecting reinforcements and launching a more aggressive offensive. Massive orbital cannons aimed at human positions, forcing the Aurora Armada to react instantly. The battle escalated to a scale neither side had fully experienced before. Kalen's team moved swiftly through the city, securing strategic positions while dodging alien fire. We're holding them at bay but they're regrouping, he said into the comms. Lyra, any updates from the fleet? They're pushing harder now, Lyra responded. Riven's squadron is slowing them down, but more reinforcements are approaching. Kalen, we need a bold move. Something that will tip the scales in our favor. Kalen's amber eyes narrowed. Then we give them a taste of human creativity. He turned to his squad. Listen up. We've fought smarter, faster, and harder than they expected. Now we make them pay for every day they thought humanity was gone. We strike at the command hub on the eastern ridge. It's their nerve center. Take it down and the rest will falter. Riven's grin widened. Finally, the fun part. Talia rerouted power to the city's energy nodes, creating disruptions in the Zirin targeting systems. Drones faltered mid-flight, weapons misfired, and alien soldiers were thrown into confusion. With every miscalculation, human forces advanced, exploiting the chaos to reclaim ground and push back the alien ranks. Kalen led the strike team through the shattered streets, encountering heavier resistance as they neared the eastern ridge. Zirin warriors fought with mechanical precision, but the humans adapted quickly. Kalen's team used the terrain to their advantage, setting traps, creating ambushes, and leveraging every ounce of ingenuity they had learned during decades of exile. Finally, they reached the central hub. The massive structure pulsed with alien energy, a focal point of communication and control for the Zirin forces. Kalen signaled his team to prepare for infiltration. Talia, remotely connected, guided them through security protocols and electronic defenses. Go now, she whispered. You have one chance. Inside, the strike team fought with unmatched coordination. Laser fire echoed through the hallways, energy shields flared, and alien warriors fell under the combined might of human ingenuity and courage. Kalen confronted the hub's central control console and, with a decisive strike, overloaded its systems. The energy core exploded in a brilliant surge, sending shockwaves through the surrounding alien infrastructure. Outside, the Zirin reinforcements faltered. Without coordination, their attacks became chaotic, their drones collided, and their warships hesitated, giving the Aurora Armada the advantage it needed. Humanity's counterstrike had turned the tide. Lyra's voice rang over the comms, triumphant but cautious. Excellent work, Kalen. The hub is down and their forces are faltering. But don't celebrate yet. This battle is only the beginning. Reinforcements from the outer colonies will arrive soon. Stay sharp. Kalen looked over the city, smoke rising from the ruins, fires burning in controlled zones, and the first signs of human reclamation taking hold. We've survived, he said quietly, almost to himself. We fought back. And this is just the start. They thought humanity was gone. They were wrong. For the first time in 60,000 days, the Zirin realized that Earth was no longer theirs to command without challenge. The humans had returned not merely to fight but to reclaim, to strategize, and to show the universe that their species would never be conquered. Kalen turned to his team. We've struck the first blow, but the war is far from over. Prepare for the next wave. Humanity does not retreat. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity returns. And with that, the Aurora Armada and its ground forces prepared for the next phase of battle. The Zirin counterattack had come, and humanity had not only survived, they had thrived. The war for Earth was escalating, and the long-awaited revenge of a species thought extinct had only just begun. The heart of revenge. The Zirin counterattack had been fierce, but humanity had endured. Yet Kalen Dre knew the war for Earth was far from over. The alien overlords, enraged by the loss of New York and the collapse of key communication hubs, had retreated to their central command fortress on the continent's eastern ridge, a massive spire of dark metal, pulsating with alien energy. This was their nerve center, the heart of Zirin control over Earth, and the key to humanity's ultimate revenge. Kalen stood aboard Horizon's Wrath, the flagship of the Aurora Armada, staring at the fortress through hollow optics. Its towers stretched higher than any human skyscraper, and its defenses were formidable. Energy shields, drone swarms, automated turrets, and soldiers of terrifying strength. But he felt no fear. Only resolve. Lyra Vey approached, placing a hand on Kalen's shoulder. "This is the moment, Kalen. Strike true, strike together. If we take the heart, we sever the body. Their control, their hold on Earth, all of it ends here." Kalen nodded. "We fight not just for revenge, but for every human who fell, for every city they destroyed, for every family torn apart. Today the Zirin will learn what humanity truly is." The strike team was assembled. Kalen, Riven Salas, Talia Vorn, and a squad of elite human warriors. Each member carried weapons powered by Ethereum, energy blades, and plasma rifles engineered to pierce Zirin armor. Every unit had trained for this moment, honing skills over decades of exile, anticipation, and preparation. Talia interfaced with the fortress remotely, her cybernetic enhancements allowing her to override minor systems and create temporary blind spots in the alien sensors. "I can give you 20 minutes of cover," she said, her voice tight with focus. "After that they'll detect you. You must strike fast." Riven tightened his harness in the cockpit of Falcon's Edge, scanning for the least defended entry points. 20 minutes, he muttered. "That's all the time we need to make them regret ever invading Earth." Kalen led the descent, guiding the team in stealth crafts that glided silently over the jagged terrain. The fortress loomed closer with every passing second. Its energy shields pulsed like a heartbeat, and Zirin patrols moved like clockwork around its perimeter. Every misstep could be fatal. The team landed in a shadowed valley beneath the fortress, avoiding the patrolling drones. Kalen signaled for silence and the humans advanced. Every step was calculated, every movement precise. The air hummed with alien energy, and the faint glow of the fortress cast long shadows across the rocky landscape. Inside the fortress, chaos awaited. The central corridors were filled with guards, mechanical sentries, and energy traps. But humanity's strike team moved like a single organism. Kalen led the front, cutting through enemies with precise strikes. Riven darted through corridors, disarming traps and taking down sentries with agility that seemed almost impossible. Talia disabled security systems in real time, opening pathways and shutting down turrets remotely. Hours passed like minutes as the team pushed deeper into the fortress. The further they went, the more they felt the weight of centuries of Zirin occupation. Alien glyphs glowed ominously on walls, energy conduits pulsed with life, and the air vibrated with a strange, oppressive hum. Yet the humans pressed on, driven by vengeance, determination, and the unyielding desire to reclaim their home. Finally, they reached the central control core, the heart of the Zirin fortress. It was a massive chamber filled with alien machinery, pulsating energy, and a network of command consoles controlling the entire alien occupation. At the center stood Zirek, the Overlord, a towering figure encased in armor that shimmered with deadly energy. His eyes glowed crimson as he turned to face the humans. "Humans," Zirek's voice boomed, metallic and chilling. "You are fools to challenge us. Your species is weak. Your home is ours." Kalen stepped forward, voice steady and resolute. "You took our world, destroyed our cities, and killed our people. Today that ends. Humanity does not forgive. Humanity does not forget. Humanity returns." The battle erupted in a whirlwind of energy and fury. Zirek's strength was immense, his attacks devastating, yet the humans were relentless. Kalen's team fought as one, combining strategy, agility, and raw determination. Every strike, every maneuver, every action was calculated to weaken the Overlord and disrupt the fortress systems. Riven leaped across platforms, striking Zirin soldiers with precision. His movements were almost dance-like, exploiting the Overlord's slight miscalculations. Talia, connected to the fortress network, caused systems to fail at critical moments. Shields dropped, energy flows redirected, defenses misfired, giving the humans crucial openings. Kalen confronted Zirek directly. The clash was brutal. Energy blades clashed with alien armor, sparks flying in every direction. Zirek struck with overwhelming force, but Kalen's experience, training, and resolve allowed him to parry and counterstrike with skill that seemed impossible against such a foe. The battle reached a crescendo as Talia overrode the core's energy flow. "Now Kalen. Hit it," she shouted. With a decisive strike, Kalen plunged his blade into the core, causing the fortress to tremble violently. Energy conduits exploded, lights flickered, and alarms blared as the central systems failed. Xeric roared in fury, staggering under the combined assault. The fortress, once impenetrable, began to collapse. Outside, the human forces pressed forward, seizing control as Xeran defenses faltered. Drones fell from the sky, reinforcements were confused and disoriented, and the balance of power shifted irrevocably. Kalen, standing amid the chaos, knew this was the turning point. Humanity had struck at the heart of Xeran power. Their enemy's control over Earth was crumbling. And for the first time in 60,000 days, victory was within reach. Xeric, weakened and enraged, retreated into the shadows of the fortress, vowing vengeance. But humanity had won the battle, and the fortress, once a symbol of oppression, now belonged to them. Kalen turned to his team, exhaustion and triumph in equal measure. This is what we came for. The heart is ours. Earth will be free. And they will never forget the humans who fought back. Lyra's voice came over the comms, filled with pride. Excellent work. Prepare for the next phase. This victory will inspire humanity everywhere. But remain vigilant, they will retaliate. As the fortress crumbled and humans secured the area, Kalen gazed toward the horizon. Earth was battered, but it was alive. Humanity had returned not just to fight, but to reclaim, to rebuild, and to prove that no force, no matter how powerful, could break their spirit. The heart of revenge had been struck. The war for Earth was far from over, but humanity had taken the first true step toward reclaiming their home. Rebirth of Earth. The ruins of the Xeran Central Fortress still smoldered under the fading glow of distant fires, but for the first time in 60,000 days, Earth felt alive again. Humanity had returned not merely to fight, but to reclaim, to rebuild, and to remind the galaxy that they could never be conquered. Kalen Dre stood atop the highest peak near the fortress, gazing at the horizon. The land stretched out before him, scarred yet full of potential. Cities were in ruins, forests overgrown with alien detritus, oceans tainted and lifeless, but in every shadow of destruction there was hope. Humanity had survived. Humanity had endured. And humanity would thrive. Lyra Vey approached, her eyes reflecting both the fires of battle and the dawning light of possibility. We've won the war for this continent, she said. The Xeran retreating from their remaining outposts won't last long. The fleet is securing other regions, and humans are returning from hidden colonies to reclaim their cities. Kalen nodded, his amber eyes fierce with determination. This is just the beginning. Every city we restore, every forest we reclaim, every life we rebuild, it's a message. Humanity survives. Humanity thrives. And no one, not even the Xeran, will ever take our home again. Across the continent, the human forces worked tirelessly. Engineers restored critical infrastructure, repairing communication networks, power grids, and transportation systems. Soldiers patrolled to ensure remaining Xeran stragglers could not regroup. Scientists tested the water, air, and soil, beginning the long process of environmental restoration. Every action was a step toward rebirth, toward a planet finally free from alien domination. Riven Salas piloted Falcon's Edge above the recovering cities, performing reconnaissance and providing air support where needed. He marveled at the resilience of his species. We've been gone for so long, he muttered into his comms, but we've come back stronger than ever. Talia Vorn, still at her cybernetic console aboard Horizon's Wrath, monitored the remnants of Xeran activity. She had disrupted their control grids, rerouted their escape channels, and left their remaining forces in disarray. The Xeran won't return to coordinated resistance, she reported. They're scattered, confused, and terrified. Earth is ours to reclaim. Kalen gathered the leaders of the operation for a council atop the fortress remains. Around him stood Lyra, Riven, Talia, and the commanders of each ground and fleet division. This is more than a victory in battle, he said, his voice carrying over the quiet wind. This is the start of restoration. Earth will rise again, not as it was, but stronger, wiser, and united. Every human who survived exile, every colony, every family, they will all have a place here. And the Xeran will remember this day for the rest of their existence. The rebuilding of Earth was a monumental task. Cities had to be reconstructed, alien technology dismantled, and ecosystems restored. Humanity deployed advanced terraforming devices to cleanse the oceans and atmosphere, purified water, and planted forests using genetically enhanced flora capable of thriving in previously poisoned soil. Energy grids were rebuilt using sustainable human technologies, ensuring that power would flow where it was needed without reliance on alien systems. In the skies, the Aurora Armada maintained vigilance, patrolling and protecting the planet while ships ferried essential supplies to key locations. Every operation was coordinated with precision, every human action a statement of resilience and hope. The Zirin, now scattered and disoriented, dared not challenge Earth's defenders. As months passed, humanity reclaimed more and more of their world. Cities rose from the ashes, forests spread across barren lands, and wildlife slowly returned. The people, once exiled and scattered among the stars, returned to their homeworld, bringing knowledge, technology, and culture that had evolved in distant colonies. Kalen walked through one of the restored cities, observing the bustling streets, children playing among newly planted trees, and citizens working together to rebuild homes and infrastructure. The weight of 60,000 days of exile lifted from his shoulders as he realized the enormity of what they had achieved. Humanity had not only survived, they had returned stronger than ever. Lyra joined him, smiling for the first time in decades. "It's beautiful," she said, her eyes scanning the horizon. "This is what we fought for. This is home again." Kalen nodded, looking out over the thriving city. "And it's only the beginning. We've proven the Zirin are not invincible. We've shown the universe that humans will rise no matter the odds. Our species will thrive, and Earth will be a symbol of hope, resilience, and strength for generations to come." Riven approached, hovering slightly above the street in his fighter as a show of solidarity. "And the best part?" he said with a grin. "We did it together. Humans united, never backing down. That's something no Zirin could ever understand." Talia, monitoring the communications hub, added with satisfaction, "Their forces are retreating to the far reaches of the galaxy. Earth is ours. And the intelligence we've gathered will ensure they never threaten us again." Kalen raised his gaze to the stars. "Let every human colony know. Let every survivor hear. Earth is free. Humanity has returned. And from this day forward, we build a future worth fighting for, a future of our own making." The people cheered, the cities thrummed with life, and the planet itself seemed to breathe anew. Humanity had reclaimed their home, not with mindless rage, but with strategy, courage, and unyielding spirit. The Zirin had underestimated them, as all had throughout history. But humans had returned, not to bow, not to beg, but to claim what was theirs. Kalen stood at the center of a newly restored square, surrounded by citizens, soldiers, engineers, and children. He spoke, his voice carrying across the crowd, 60,000 days ago, our world was taken from us. Today we reclaim it, not as a broken species but as a united people. Today we begin anew. Earth is our home. Humanity is eternal. And the galaxy will remember that humans never stay down." The crowd erupted in a chorus of voices, cheering and singing, celebrating the end of exile and the dawn of a new era. Fires of hope burned brighter than any weapons had, and humanity's spirit, tempered by centuries of survival, shone stronger than ever. Above, the Aurora Armada patrolled silently, a watchful guardian over a planet reborn. Kalen, Lyra, Riven, and Talia stood together, looking toward the stars, knowing that the fight had been won, but the adventure of rebuilding and reclaiming humanity's place in the galaxy had just begun. The rebirth of Earth was complete. Humanity had returned, victorious, stronger, and united. The Zirin would never forget the species they had tried to destroy. And for the first time in 60,000 days, the people of Earth looked to the future with unshakable hope. Humanity had returned, not as victims, not as wanderers, but as conquerors of fate, stewards of a reclaimed world, and guardians of a new dawn. Earth was theirs once more, and nothing would ever take it away.